June 1st, 2024. Well, so much focus has been on the presidential race, and I thought I'd take a little bit of a look into another thing which is very important and it would be very significant if Trump were to win the presidential race. Then, of course, he needs a Senate that will confirm his appointments and not give him too much trouble. And given the situation in the House, I have no idea how the House race is going to turn out. It may, to some degree, factor through coattails off the presidential race, perhaps. Um, However, the actual performance of the House and this Congress has been very poor overall. I mean, this continual infighting and attempting to oust our own speaker. I think that I've gone through that before. I think that there's been no real performance at all. It's kind of a caretaker Congress it's kind of turned into. So, but on the House side, but on the Senate side, we have to look at what the possibilities of winning this thing are. Now, going into this, we're in a 51 Democrat to 49 Republican situation, and so that's kind of how we are. And of course, that leads us to the disastrous outcome in Georgia that we had, of course. So at any rate, which shouldn't have occurred, but we're kind of in a bad shape. So let's take a look at what our prospects are. From what I can see, it doesn't look like any of our incumbents are really at risk as far as I can tell at this point. Of course, things could develop, but I don't really see that at this point happening. So looking at some polling data and so forth from Real Clear Politics, one very likely pickup will of course be West uh, Virginia, which is a very Republican state, and as a governor, I guess his name's Justice, I think, is going to be running as a Republican, and I think I don't think that the Democrats have a very good chance of defeating him. With Manchin retiring, I think that gives us one pickup, which would bring us up to parity 50-50. Then we look at other possibilities. You know, the Arizona race is of course, they have a late primary. We're not sure what's going to happen yet. The primary contender, I think, on that is Lake, of course, and Lake, of course, made the big mistake of trying to emulate Trump's situation. In fact, hers was a little bit more of a closer race than what his really was in 2020, and she's made such a um, well, it creates such a disturbance about losing that race and the voting irregularities that occurred in Maricopa County. I know I'm not saying that she didn't get a raw deal, but sometimes when you get a raw deal, the best thing to do, especially when you're young like that, would be just to go ahead and do whatever you can to try to get changes made. But what are you going to get changes made with a Democrat governor, which we got stuck with too out there, but anyhow. So right now it looks most of the polling shows are running behind. Like New York Times, Siena has got hers 46 to 43. Um, there's another poll out which has her, some CBS has it 49 to 36, which unless something happened within a week's time that's pretty dramatic, I tend to think that's probably a bogus poll, maybe. It doesn't seem to be too likely. Um, but at any rate, because and so, but that one is going to be a tough one to win, I think, with Lake. Um, I think if we had another candidate, we might have done better. But the Arizona Republican Party has a problem of just picking. This is no longer Barry Goldwater country anymore. Okay, and they don't seem to realize it. So, and there was the Maryland thing. Hogan's running, but it doesn't look like he's doing very good. He won as governor, but I guess they don't want him as senator. Wisconsin, well, the race against Baldwin looks very difficult, um, but we didn't really expect much there anyhow. Um, we're not sure exactly what's likely to happen. Let's see, do I have anything on Michigan? Um, that one would be tricky, I think. Um, so, but it's possible there. That one's a long shot, I think. Um, here's one. It looks like maybe, um, it could be, I don't know. Pennsylvania. Now that's and then interesting. McCormick. Well, McCormick, was the one that another one of the things that didn't work out too good for us last time. Was a he's running against Casey. He's a long-term incumbent, been there for a long time. Used to be, kind of considered to be a moderate Democrat, but he's had to go left like everybody else has in that party. But right now he's like ahead with a 4-point advantage in a poll here. Um, that probably is not wrong. Here's one that on Wisconsin doesn't look that bad. I don't know if that's an Emerson poll, Hill and Emerson. Wisconsin, again, I think that might depend on how the presidential race goes. There could be a coattail effect, If the presidential race goes our way, the Senate might also. But that Wisconsin has been very tricky in recent years. I think part of the problem was again the protracted election challenge and the blowback from that. But so, you know, Texas, the Democrats are always throwing out the possibility that they're going to somehow win Texas. I still think that Cruz will probably end up winning, but that's that was an interesting one on the way that came out last time, whereas he didn't do nearly as good as the governor did there. So, and let's see here. I would so overall it looks like hmm, I don't know. It's hard to know. Throne is that okay? So anywho, that kind of gives you an idea there. I think the states which I don't have any information on, Nevada looks rather close, and that's running neck and neck. And so that's a possible pickup there. I think on the other hand, we could look at Montana. Now that one's always kind of tricky because Tester, who's a hardline Democrat, always seems to win a state which otherwise Trump will just win in a blowout, which I don't quite understand what's going on there with those people. How do you vote for Trump and then you vote for Tester? The 10% of their population that does that must be some really interesting people. I don't know. The only thing I can think is that Tester is able to bring a lot of money for certain people in that's simply that. I don't know. Like, does he do something great for the ranchers there or something? At any rate, but that looks like a possibility, although we've we've had that hope before in previous elections. So, and Nevada looks possible. Um, and like I say, so I'm trying to think of anything else out there that's really that's being contested. I can't. So it looks like potentially if we got Nevada and Montana and and West Virginia, that could leave us somewhere in a 52 to 48 Senate. Um, you know, so that and some of the other races that are not that close. I mean, we might be able to pull out Pennsylvania if we win the presidential, maybe a coattail effect. So there's a possibility, in a really successful race that you might end up with something, you know, you might get lucky and get up to something like 55 to 45. But that's probably a fantasy scenario. By the way, if you like these videos, please give me a like. I was looking for more subscriptions. And of course, if you've found this through some link like on social media, you could, but you're a member of Rumble, you could also subscribe to me on Rumble because the descriptions and the below on all that. So yeah, and so I don't know. So that gives us kind of a look at the Senate race, and the Senate is very important because if we were to lose the presidential race, it's very important to have a control of the Senate so that we can block a lot of the things they're doing and obviously prevent the end of the filibuster so that the Supreme Court will be protected. Hopefully, gun rights would be protected and other things would be protected. State maybe voter integrity could be protected, things of that sort. These are kind of important, and of course, winning the House is important too. But we've had such a bad situation with people quitting and all the infighting and the stupidity of what's been going on there. I mean, it's. I mean, if people have got together and not been kicking out speakers and tried to work together, I think we could have got a few things done. Maybe got some extra border security passed and not that terrible bill that they just, that Schumer tried to bring up about a week ago. But that thing is, a piece of garbage. HR2 was good, but it had to be, you had to have some leverage, and then we gave it up by passing the Ukraine aid without that, and the Senate so determined under McConnell to get Ukraine aid through that they didn't, you know, that they didn't really negotiate hard to get any decent border security that we could accept. So that's kind of the situation as I see it. We'll just have to kind of hang in there. Of course, we'll also be noting what's going to happen in the upcoming debate on the 27th, I guess, between Trump and Biden. I still think having a debate at that time with him is a mistake, only because winning it could well be losing it. That is to say, and losing it would be losing it. So why compete in a lose-lose? We want to keep Biden as a nominee, and then we want him to fall apart, and after it's too late to replace him, so that we can win the election. I mean, that we don't want him to be seen so bad early on that they actually do get him removed. So anyway, that's about it for this time. The links to my social media accounts are in the description below, and of course, I always post this on YouTube and Rumble. So that'll be all for this time.